Hey, Shackers, it's time for another episode of This Week in Switch 2, the podcast they said wouldn't make it past 3 episodes, and now we're like at, I don't know, 22? Huh? How about that?
Somewhere in that neighborhood.
How about that? I'm your host, Asif Khan. I'm CEO, Editor-in-Chief. EIEIO, that stands for Extremely Intelligent Extreme Intelligence Officer, which increases our valuation by the day. I don't know if you've seen what's going on in the AI space. The extreme intelligence space is even more exciting. I'd say extremely exciting. So yeah, please, money, give. Anyway, I'm joined by my usual co-host, Donovan Erskine, our news editor.
Hello.
Piping in from a series of tubes from Chicago, right, David?
That's right.
Our long reads editor, David L. Craddock, is here.
Hello.
Hey, David. And yes, we dug him out of the video mines for at least an hour and a half today. Head of video! Greg Burke is here. I have to...
Hey, howdy, hey.
Hey, I have to say, like, whenever we have a head of anything here, I have to, like, give it the proper pomp and circumstance. So, welcome, Greg. Congratulations on getting out of the video mines long enough to say hello.
Just happy to see sunlight.
Now, wait a second. Wait just a second. I'm head of long reads.
There you go.
There you are.
Well, do you...
You're at a rocket jump.
Oh, so did you just get it? Okay, fine. You're head of long reads. There you go.
At a rocket jump.
There you go, David.
Head of rocket jumps.
Head of rocket jumps. Head of long reads. You got to change your bio, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Because Greg's actually says it, and I think Sam Chandler is head of guides. So yeah, we have so many guides freelancers now that like he really needed that. Like it's literally just Greg, me, and now Andrew working on video. Like, and yes, a couple of folks on staff will also cobble together some videos for us in Premiere. So shout out to Bill and Sam. I know they do work on that too. But yeah, head of video here. Welcome, Greg. I know you have some thoughts on the big topic. We're going to get to Pokemon Legends ZA. Donovan, you reviewed it. Greg, you've played it. I've watched, I don't know, a lot of gameplay of it, and we talked about it because we had the preview here on the podcast too. But we'll get into that in a second. But more importantly, there are only 77 days left in the reign of terror of Doug Bowser before he retires. It's not really a reign of terror. It's not really a reign of terror. But, you know, it's Bowser.
Good number.
It's like Bowser, you know? Like, you gotta...
Yeah.
He is a bad guy, right?
He just wants to marry the princess.
Yeah, right. Maybe Bowsette. I'm sure there'll be plenty of Bowsettes at TwitchCon this weekend. Anyway, Donovan, you played Pokemon Legends ZA for review for Shacknews. It wasn't an emulated version of the game. It wasn't the Switch 1 copy of the game. It wasn't a broken street date. You were literally given a key by Nintendo PR to play it for the purposes of review. You may not have had a lot of time, because I saw some outlets didn't get their review out. You might not have had a lot of time, but you reviewed it. What do you think? Let the people at home know what you think of Pokemon Legends ZA.
Yeah, so I was granted a code for the Switch 2 version of this game last week. I essentially lived, breathed, and ate this game since the moment I got that code last week. And my review went live yesterday, and I really liked Pokemon Legends ZA. I thought it was a strong improvement, not over the previous Legends game, which was Arceus, came out a couple of years ago, but even Scarlet and Violet, which I scored a 7 out of 10 here at Shacknews, which I think is the lowest score I've given a mainline Pokemon game. And Legends ZA 1 just performs better. I think the first thing you'll notice playing this game, booting it up on Switch 2, and it feels sad to like bring it up because it's such a low bar for a modern video game, but it runs and plays well. There's no hitches. Everything is smooth. All the animations, the loading screens. The game does this thing where there are like tips it shows you on the loading screens. You can't read any of them because it loads that fast. The Switch 2 is in a way like propelling this game probably by like a full number rating on the review scale. And I think it's pretty obvious that this game was like developed for Switch 1 and this is a Switch 2 enhanced game. And whatever they do next for Pokemon will probably be natively built for Switch 2. But even here, that new hardware kind of lets this game really really shine, which is fitting because it's set in Pokemon's own City of Lights. It's Lumio City, which is our Paris analog here. It was introduced in X and Y, which just turned 12 years old a couple days ago, I believe. And instead of, roaming the entire Kalos region, you just roam Lumio City, which they've now expanded into a full map. If you ever run through a city in a Pokemon game, you know that there isn't actually much to do or see there. You can usually catch everything in like 10 to 20 minutes, but they have made it its own like actual map with named roads and districts and buildings, most of which you still can't go into, but some of them you can. There are NPCs and characters everywhere. There are Pokemon everywhere. You look up and on top of a light post, there'll just be a Pidgey. You get too close, it'll fly away. You'll see Trubbish, which are the little like garbage bags Pokemon from Black and White. They'll be like in alleyways, sitting on dumpsters and whatnot. And maybe if you go deep in the alleyway, you'll see like a Garbodor, which is the big ones. They do a great job of just making it feel like a world inhabited by Pokemon. You look down into the river and there are like Magikarps that swim by, and you get too close and they'll flop out onto the sidewalk and try to like splash at you. They just it's a very well crafted version of that city. It's very different than what it was in X and Y, but they kind of explain it because in the story, there's this redevelopment plan. There's this company called Quasartico Incorporated who are trying to make Lumio City like this haven where Pokemon and people live together in harmony. And now they have these wild zones, which are like dedicated city areas where Pokemon roam free. And if you go there, you're going to see a shit ton of Pokemon just roaming around. And of course, it's a Pokemon game. They do not hide their like secrets or mysteries very well. So from the beginning, it's like there's something weird about all this. There's something not right here in Lumio City, and that's kind of like um, the prevailing mystery throughout the game is what's really happening here. And there's a phenomenon that they call rogue mega evolution. Mega Evolution, of course, being a feature that was introduced in X and Y, where Pokemon go beyond their final evolution, right? There's Mega Charizard X, right, where he gets like the blue fire and he becomes a dragon type. There's like a Mega Mewtwo, and essentially what's happening here is there are wild Pokemon who are turning Mega because of some weird phenomenon, and they're just like wreaking havoc on the city. And your character is part of a group called Team MZ, are trying to get to the bottom of this, keep the city safe, and thwart all the rogue mega evolution. And that's kind of your carrot on the stick. That's kind of what propels the story forward. And then just digging through the mysteries. And I think for me, what immediately stood out playing through the story is that they kind of undersold the fact that this game is straight up a sequel to Pokemon X and Y, like legitimately. And as someone who loved X and Y when they came out, those were the first Pokemon games in the 3DS. We never got a Pokemon Z, right? Like we got gold, silver, and then crystal, ruby, sapphire, and then emerald, diamond, pearl, and then platinum. Like there's always like that definitive version. Usually comes out a year after the first games. We never got Z. They did X and Y, and then they did the ruby and sapphire remakes, and they just moved on. And for the longest time, it just felt like we never really finished what we started in Kalos. And Pokemon Legends Z to A is just full on a sequel to X and Y. There are so many returning some characters, but also just characters that have connections to existing ones. There are nods to the events of those games, even characters that don't appear. I saw like posters and billboards of people in places from that original game, and there are a lot of threads that are like directly continued in this game, which I just thought was so fun. Um, Visually, it still looks like a Pokemon game. It runs incredibly well. It doesn't like it's not going to knock your socks off visually. You still get those weird textures, or if they zoom in on like a Pokemon model, you see like the rigid lines on the any curved edges and stuff like that. Um, but I think that the art design is pretty cool. I love the way that the city looks. I think the use of lighting, the Pokemon centers, which are like these open concept corner stores now, are really fun. The wild zones, like the or holographic walls that they use to block them off look very cool. Even the like aesthetic of your character in Team MZ is like this cool like streetwear style where everybody's got like these chunky hoodies and large bags and baggy pants that they wear. Character customization is back finally. Scarlet and Violet famously gave you like three outfits that all look the same to wear. And now in this one, you can actually customize your hair, earrings, shirt, jacket, pants, socks, shoes, bag. There are different stores, and like a store in the Magenta district of town will sell different clothes than the one in the Rogue district. So you're kind of incentivized to go around and see what every shop has to offer. The Pokedex has a lot of Pokemon from X and Y, but also the regions that came after it. I love whenever they kind of like It's almost like a retcon where they like act like Pokemon existed the entire time when they're newer. So you get a lot of Pokemon from post X and Y that appear in Z to A, which I thought was fun. And then of course, the biggest, newest feature in this game, the battles. No longer turn-based battles in a mainline Pokemon game at long last. Now it is a real-time battle system. You are in a circular kind of arena. It's usually just wherever the battle starts. This is where you'll be fighting it. And instead of a turn-based system, it's action combat with cooldowns. There's no like finite amount of times you can use a move, but the more powerful a move is, the longer its cooldown will be, right? So something like Flare Blitz or like Hydro Pump, those really powerful attacks, could have like a 12 to 15-second cooldown on them, but like Tackle, Quick Attack, Water Gun, those will be like 3 or 4 seconds. And it's now like a dance where you and the other Pokemon and their trainer constantly running around this field, and different moves have like I kind of refer to them as like wind up animations. So like if you tell a Pokemon to use like flamethrower, right? It doesn't instantly shoot the beam of fire out. The Pokemon will do an animation where they rear up to do the blast. And depending on the Pokemon's speed stat and the move itself, the move may be faster or slower, right? So then there's quick attack, which in the turn-based games always goes first. That's like the advantage of that move. But in this game, the animation is just really quick, which means you can even like undercut or like jump in front of your opponent, say that your opponent goes to do like, I don't know, it's a powerful move like Dragon Pulse. And if you just put in that quick attack input, you'll just hit first. And if they've got low enough HP, you just completely cut them off and knock them out. So there's like a new strategy here where you're kind of incentivized to be patient and like think about your input, even though it is real time battling. A move like Protect, where again in the turn-based games you use Protect, it'll go first and you just won't take damage that turn. Now you use Protect, but you've got to like time it when an attack is incoming. So maybe you wait to see the like the piece in the UI that says, "Oh, this Pokemon's about to use Earthquake," and then you cast Protect, and then you don't take damage, and now you've got like the edge to jump on your opponent. I think it's a really fun system. It kind of recontextualizes like everything about the game. There are a lot of moves that I didn't like or didn't use in the turn-based games that now I'm like, oh, well, that's kind of like a must-have for this Pokemon. And I think those are my general surface level thoughts. And I should mention I gave this game a 9 out of 10 on the Shacknews review scale.
Wow,
Legends today.
That's the highest score you've ever given a Pokemon game here, right?
I think so, yeah. Legends Arceus I gave an 8. I think Sword and Shield I gave an 8 or a 7. Scarlet and Violet I definitely give a 7. And the spin-offs,
What stopped it from being a 10?
Scores was in there. A couple of things. I think still there's a dated feel to the look of it, but then also some of the animations, and I mentioned this in the review, but it's like when you're playing like a Pokemon game and like an NPC walks up to you and they want to like hand you a Pokeball, it's like the same generic animation of like blup blup, and it's like the empty hand, and they cycle through the same things where people will run and when they stop running they go and they stop on a dime. Or if a character is running and they want to turn a corner, they're like, and there's like no voice acting. There are even like animated cinematics where it's like people are jumping and yelling and it's just all on-screen text. And I'm like, dude, this is Pokemon, bro. Like, get some voice acting in this game. There's just like, and it's a weird term to use, but it's like there's like a low budget feel to every Pokemon game, even the good ones. And I say low budget by AAA standards, of course, but still, it's like for a franchise that just like makes money like nobody's business, like you can get some VAs in the booth. Like we can get more than like the same 6 animations, you know. When people talk, their mouths just go like blah 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 blah. It's stuff like that that kind of takes you out of it.
Especially
yeah.
a franchise that has such a prolific like anime backlog at this point. Like
it's very expressive.
It's time. To your point, Diamond. It's like time for them to like, because why I'm buying this game is that it feels the most like the anime I've ever seen from a gameplay perspective. Like, I'm like, this Definitely. Feels like I'm gonna be playing the anime. But you don't have the voices. And that's like such a huge part of what makes those shows and those movies great. So it's like, that does kind of suck. One thing like about Lumina City in this game, it kind of reminds me of this, like, the setting of Detective Pikachu, where it's like, yes, Pokemon and humans living together. Like, it feels like that's going to be a trend going forward in this. But yeah, you know, we don't really report on these sort of things, But if you believe what you're seeing on the internet this week, apparently these budgets are rather low for Pokemon games. If you believe everything you read on the internet, and we know that they're wildly profitable too. So I agree with what you're saying about just graphically, nothing about it wowed me, but it's just like as a result of the graphics not being like cutting edge, at least the performance is good. Like
very good.
That's the other side of it, right? Like especially with real-time battles, like if you had the choppiness with the real-time battles, it would be ass. This game would suck. So I think it's a delicate balance that they hit. And also, like you said, this is a Switch 1 game that's also releasing on Switch 2. That is a Switch 2 edition that you pay more for the Switch 2 edition for. But it's at least that's the value, is it runs better. And like that's been this trend on Switch 2, is like, yeah, it doesn't look super next gen, but at least it runs better. Yeah, one thing we'll get into.
I'm really curious about the Switch 1 impressions. Like, if will it run poorly on Switch 1 like the last Pokemon game? Like, will it be like frame stutters and frame drops and not 30 consistently?
It's 30 consistently, and it's 1080p docked, is my understanding.
Yeah,
and I think
I'm sure there are drops.
Yeah, but I would wait for the Digital Foundry to get their hands on both of them and do the thing that they do so well. But yeah, like from what I've read, Greg, it's half the frame rate, and it's not 4K, but it's like 4K-ish, it's not even, because these textures are not great, right? So it's like, yes, they're going to use DLSS, they're going to use super sampling to make it better or whatever, and maybe the lighting is better on the Switch 2, because I noticed that you kind of mentioned that, like, it is like a city of light. But yeah, it's just funny. I've seen a lot of people this week, and like the past few weeks, who did not have a Switch 1, who all bought Switch 2s in the last few weeks. And they're doing it because of this game, and they're doing this because of Donkey Kong, and they're doing this because of Mario Kart World, oddly enough. So it's interesting to see, like, people who missed out on the entire Switch generation are buying the Switch 2, and they're discovering, oh my god, Breath of the Wild is one of the greatest games of all time. Oh my god, Tears of the Kingdom might be the best video game ever made. Like, they're discovering this massive backlog that we talked about last episode, David. It's just like an outstanding lineup of games that now run extremely well on this new system. And that goes back to, like, my Switch 2 review that I still haven't filed. That, like, this is a better Switch in in just a lot of ways. It's like you had an iPhone 6 and you bought the iPhone 17 and you're like, wow, my phone loads this app way faster now. So it's like, yeah, it's not this like groundbreaking moment, but it's still really cool, and it's like a huge value add. And if you never had the iPhone 6 and you're just buying the 17 Pro this year, you're like, oh wow, this is really good. This camera is really good, like. So yeah. I think it's interesting to see both sides of that, where, like, we're obviously early adopters. Everyone on staff got a Switch 2 at launch, so, like, we are deep in this. But, like, watching consumers kind of see that, oh, wow, this Switch 2 is not really that bad. After that original grumbling about how much it costs and the cost of Mario Kart World and all these things, we're about, like, 5 months into this. Seeing people's, like, the narrative kind of switch has been interesting. And I know
it reminds me of
Switch.
Like the DVD to HD video transition when it first happened.
DVD you mean 4:3 to HD, right?
Yeah, basically, like the basic when HD video and Blu-ray came out compared to DVD, because they were double the cost and no one was buying them, and then eventually they're like, oh, it looks better.
Mm-hmm. And now they're all dead. You can't even buy them at Best Buy. It's crazy. That whole center of the Best Buy that used to just be CDs and DVDs. It's like a Samsung store now or something. Anyway.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Yeah. you can get some USB adapters there and a charger, but there are no CDs at Best Buy anymore, Greg. So yeah, physical media, RIP, except on the Switch 2, oddly enough. You already sold me, Donovan. We've been talking about this game during your review process, even during the preview process when you got hands-on with it. We talked to Ozzy about it. Ozzy and Greg, you both got to play it. You got to play it at PAX West. Ozzy even played it at Pokemon Worlds, where he actually did better than the time he played at PAX, where Greg was trolling him on camera. But yeah, it's been interesting because like I'm not like I told you, basic ass Pokemon fan here, not super hardcore Pokemon fan when it comes to the mainline games. I think XY might be the last time I actually played one of these mainline games on the 3DS. Because it was there weren't a whole lot at that time. There weren't a whole lot of great 3DS games. Obviously, you could play the DS platform on the 3DS. But Greg, as a guy who grumbles about the Pokemon franchise almost annually, how do you feel about the game? And what do you think about Donovan's review?
His review's great. Like I agree with everything he said. Like this was the breath of fresh air the franchise needed to evolve. Like pun intended. Like it's been Pokemon has played it very safe for like the last 2 decades, 3 decades. It's very it's a grid based thing. Even when it's 3D, it's still grid based and it's turn based, and it's basically the same. And they add a bunch of new Pokemon every single time, and new areas and new locations. But like they play like and eventually for someone like me, since I'm a little bit older now, I just got bored with it. I think what's the one after Silver, Donovan?
Green Sapphire.
Yeah, after Green and Sapphire, like I just kind of was like, well, this. I played this game like 4 times already, like, and I'm good. But like people really like that formula. It's one of the few turn-based games that are still popular today. But I wanted like when Pokken Tournament came out, which I was like, oh my god, could you imagine if Pokemon was like this? If you ran around, got in an encounter, then you had to actually control your Pokemon like a fighter. Like this is that's where I wanted. This is definitely a step in the right direction. And after seeing what they did with I always say this wrong, Arcadia, or
Arceus or Arceus, people say both.
Arceus. After Arceus, I was like, okay, this is interesting because this is them. The battles are still turn-based, but they're kind of doing like this open world formula where the battles are, you don't have to load into a screen, they kind of just happen. You're like, okay, this is an interesting step. And now with this one, which is specifically like a revolutionary an evolution of the battle system to be real time and reactive, they're making an MMO. These last 2 games are tests to see if can we do an open world, we can go anywhere and fight. Okay, cool. Can we do a battle system that's real time where you can react? Because none of it, like something the Pokemon games have never had that you said you had in the review was aggro. You can in the wild you can run into other Pokemon while you're fighting them and they will start attacking you in mid battle, right? Like you can pull other ones into your battle on accident.
Yeah, you don't get ganged up on if you're like in an area with a bunch of hostile Pokemon. They'll all attack you at once,
So that's aggro. Like that is the first time this series has introduced an MMO mechanic that has been a staple in that genre for decades. Like running around and pulling too much and then wiping or passing out. In this game, passing out. So the Taco Bet is just these 2 games are tests for their MMO. They want to make an MMO. They want to call it Pokemon Legends. People have been asking an MMO since Red and Blue. Like, like, oh, this online would be perfect. It's a turn-based game. You can just play it online and walk around and do anything. They've had a tremendous success with Pokemon Go, although it's a mobile game. I think these 2 games are just building blocks for a game they're just going to call Legends, and it's going to be an MMO. It's going to be an online MMO where you just play with people and collect every generation from Red and Blue to X and Y, and Sword and Shield. I think that's where they're going.
See something like that. I don't know if I go as far as MMO. I mean, they're definitely going to make more games like this. This definitely feels like the trial run for the next big single-player Pokemon game, at the very least. I think that, and I believe I said it on this podcast after my preview, that I think, at the very least, Generation 10, whatever those mainline games are, Pokemon Blank and Pokemon Blank, I think they're going to use the same system, where it's real-time battles, and people will either like it or not, but I think that's what they're kind of setting us up for. Because Legends Arceus was similar, where it was like a pseudo open world. It was like open zones you like fast travel to, but they were really big open areas. And then Scarlet and Violet was like the first full open world Pokemon game, right? I think that a lot of the stuff we're seeing in this game, we're going to see again. They did not create a new battle system from the ground up and recontextualize every move in the game to never use it again in a big budget Pokemon game.
So is
MMO ambitious, but I don't know. We'll see.
Is Pokemon Champions the last cross-generational Pokemon? Like, is that on Switch 1 and 2?
It is going to be on Switch 1 and 2 and mobile.
That's right. So, like, after Pokemon Champions, I think we need to revisit this and just see where things are going. But yeah, like, it does... I mean, they have made some online multiplayer games, to your point, Greg. Like, they had... you can... Go is that. And also Unite, which they've had a ton of success with Unite. And obviously that's not an MMO, but that's, it's an online game, right? And it's another way to showcase their battle mechanics in like a completely different way. It's actually become quite the esport too. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they experiment on that front.
It's just this, there's so much in common with Pokemon Legends ZA to like World of Warcraft, which I've played for 2 decades. Like the timers, the cooldown, the timing your abilities, the moving out of the fire, like don't stand in the circle that's gonna go up, move out of the way, right? Like it's everything is just there's so much in similar with that. I could just see that that's where their mindset is.
I don't
like they definitely want to be like, okay, how can we do a Pokemon game MMO that's not just a turn-based
I would
math
agree with
fest in
you
somebody's head, right?
if MMOs were still in vogue, but they're really not. I think that they probably took a lot of MMO concepts and transplanted them into this game. It's kind of like what happened to the real-time strategy game. Like RTS is quote unquote dead, not really, but like they're not mainstream anymore. But you see RTS elements in MOBAs, right? It's just
all
a
the
transplant
time.
of game mechanics. Yeah.
All the time, David. It makes me hate them because I don't want to play a MOBA. I want to play an
Right.
RTS, which is why like
Yeah.
that one moment in time where we got Off-World Trading Company, I'm like still singing its praises 10 years later because I think it's one of the best RTS to be released in the last decade.
Right.
And I
If there was
don't.
one company that could bring it back though and like make it sustainable, it'd be Pokemon. Like a Pokemon MMO, I think
could-
would rise
yeah.
above everything and last forever.
It could. And
I mean,
the
I think-
idea of a service game, I'm sure these companies would be interested in that.
The idea of a live service Pokemon game where they could sell you anything after you start playing it, I'm sure that would make Game Freak, Nintendo, and TPCI salivate. That's also like one of the few like wish list things they still haven't done yet that people have been wanting since the Game Boy days is like a Pokemon game where I can like watch my friend walk out of a gym and like battle him on the street, then we both go like to different cities, and then maybe we see each other later. Again, I don't know. MMO itself might be ambitious. I don't know if you're going to be playing where you see hundreds of other players in
Yeah.
that guild and stuff. But I think a co-op adventure or like a thing where like up to 4 of you can explore a world at once or something, I think that'll happen eventually.
Yeah.
Maybe
I would
during
love
this
that.
generation.
That'd be great.
That would be super cool. Like it doesn't need to be massively multiplayer, but even just like co-op progression would be super
Yeah.
cool in this universe. And it goes back to what you're saying, like Dom, and like they're not even putting voice acting in this yet. Like they're so behind in some like staples of game dev right now that like by the time they do something like this, it will be like about time.
It's part of being the Pokemon fan, right? Is like we clap for shit that like is kind of embarrassing to cheer for, right? Because yeah, eventually they're gonna get to Generation 10. They'll probably next announce it for the anniversary. If that trailer starts and I hear like Ben Starr, somebody voicing like the professor or whatnot, I'm gonna get hype.
Yeah.
And it'll be sad that I'm excited there's voice actors in it, but it'll be like finally.
Yeah.
10 years, 15 years too late, but we've got like modernized content in a Pokemon game. But that's how it goes.
So not everyone agrees with Donovan. I know.
That's true. Yeah, I've seen both sides of this
Shocking.
argument on this game.
Shocking. And even some fellow reviewers, Donovan, like it's a vast array of review scores. We don't really talk about Metacritic here, but I think it's like somewhere around 80 right now. Some outlets with way more resources than Shacknews didn't even post a review score yet. It's hard out there in the
Just saying.
streets. When you have millions of dollars and all these fucking all the ads. Have you seen the ads on some of these web pages? All of them. They have so many ads. The best ads. Not really. Anyway, some people didn't review it yet. Some people don't even have the game yet, but they think you're wrong, Donovan. And I just wanted to highlight this one email from such a great viewer, reader of our content, clearly. Very supportive person that reached out, not to me, didn't reach out to the editor-in-chief, didn't reach out to Donovan either. They reached out to Bill Lavoie, our managing editor, and also someone who probably knows jack shit about Pokemon. No offense, Bill, you're not really the biggest Pokemon fan on staff. He's just not. He's not here right now. But
Right.
I love Bill. Bill's not the Pokemon guy. He's not the one to bring this up to at all. So just that right there really made me want to like analyze this. So let's do it. A dramatic reading of reader feedback. Hello, Mr. Levon. By the way, that is not Bill's name. Bill's name is Bill Lavoie, not Levon. But from here on out, we will be calling him Bill Levon. This has such actually energy. I'm terribly sorry to bother you. But I would like to point out the fact that Pokemon Legends ZA does absolutely nothing to improve on Scarlet and Violet, nor does it truly revolutionize or modernize the series. Instead, it openly disregards the cerebral strategic approach and depth that turn-based battles offer, while blindly chasing after dated, obsolete industry trends and fads, such as the Battle Royale format, all in caps, forcing bloated customization options while ignoring narrative context is even worse, because it reduces the protagonist to a blank canvas, and as a result, the game comes off as merely a novelty act. This review article also ignores the game's clear and obvious disregard for ecological diversity and meaningful connections, while confined players to a monotonous urban setting. I would appreciate it if you passed the message to the editorial staff and asked them to take these thoughts into consideration. As a fan, it clearly pains me to see how fall the franchise has fallen. That's right. How fall the franchise has fallen. Pokemon is actually about fostering meaningful connections and stewardship, not twisted, warped, anime-esque power fantasies. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please let me know. Sincerely, Jaboofer Jones.
Well,
Anyway.
Donovan, you should be ashamed
Several
of
questions.
yourself.
I mean, they just read me to filth.
So, Mr. Erskine, what do you have to say about this email?
There's
floor is
so
yours.
much. I'm actually kind of like impressed by how much there is to address in this email. It's like 3 paragraphs long. It's almost every sentence I could like do a whole piece on. I think I'll start like bigger picture, and it's something that we do a lot on Pop Goes the Culture. But just like this idea that like people deciding how they feel about media or something before they've like consumed it, right? Where people like before a movie has released or a game has come out, people have already decided like, I don't like this thing. I think it's bad. Maybe it's because of the trailers or because of the people making it or the previous entries in the series or a content creator. But it's this thing where it's like the courage, like the audacity, I think, to speak so definitively about a game that I've played and you haven't, and to not see like any sort of like irony or like foolishness in that is just so funny. Even if the game wasn't great, you know, it's just I'm like, wow, to look at my review as somebody who played the game and be like, actually, you're just wrong about these things. You're just wrong because I am scorned by the Pokemon series or whatever, which is fine. So that just really like that just blows me away because people just that's how people think about stuff. I see it all the time. Movies, games, even on like a lot of our like reels and stuff. There are people in the comments who are like absolute trash, garbage game. It's like I get that like you're mad at the Pokemon series. I think there are reasons to be frustrated about the series, but like get a grip, people. You are like not living in any sort of reality, and this is just like deeply embarrassing.
You know, I'm glad you brought up comments in the YouTube reels, or shorts, reels, wherever, TikToks, because there's a guy who clearly had too much time on his hand yesterday. He went to each of our reels on Instagram and posted the same Martin Scorsese meme, absolute trash. But it wasn't Scorsese.
Yeah,
I can't remember who it was. But anyway, yeah, continue. But this whole energy of this email, like, and I'm someone who doesn't like The Last Jedi, right? Or whatever. The second of that new trilogy of Star Wars. This feels like Star Wars fandom here. Where it's like, thing you like, I hate. I don't care what you have to say about it. You're wrong. Mm-hmm. And like, it's so founded in this flawed argument in that a review is your opinion. And
simply that.
People getting upset to the point where they email your boss or, you know, someone, your manager, right? Like, it's strong Karen energy. It's very strong Jaboofer energy. But also, it's just, like, fundamentally flawed because it's your opinion, dude. You're allowed to have an opinion. They're allowed to have this opinion. But the idea that my opinion has to influence your opinion to the point where you, like, what did they think we were going to do? Lower your review score? Be like, on second thought, I'm going to review this, and I'm going to tell Donovan he was wrong. Because this guy emailed us. I don't know. It's just weird.
Again, it's a thing we get a lot in games media, right? Or just any sort of like criticism. You see it in film, television as well, where it's like people think that like a review can be wrong, where they're like, wait, you praise this thing that I think is not good. Like even if this person had played the game, right? Let's say they sent this email a month from now after they'd put like 50 hours into it, and they felt that way, you would still be just like so off base to be like, yeah, this point you made in your review is incorrect, because it's a video game. It's subjective. Two people can play the same game and have radically different experiences with it. So again, it's just like these people don't even know how to like consume media right, which is just so insane to me because I'm assuming this was an adult. Yeah,
That's a big assumption. That's a big assumption, Donovan.
I think that, and I tell Greg this a lot. I'm like, I think you give people too much credit when you just say that they're kids when they say stupid stuff. Like, there are a lot of like dumb adults on the internet that say dumb shit.
I do want to point out the subject of this email to Bill Levon was corrections. Corrections.
Yeah.
Pokemon Legends ZA review. Now, we are all for repairing. If one thing I think is super important is true information on the internet. If we're reporting something that's false, if Donovan said the size of this is 4 gigabytes and it's 8 or whatever, we're going to correct that. If there's a statement of fact in a review, by all means, we will correct that to be the correct information. But you can't be like, your opinion is incorrect. It's like, it's his fucking opinion.
Yeah, it's Reddit energy. And then I do, now that I've gotten to like the bigger picture thing, I do want to pick apart some of the stupid smaller points they made here. Forcing bloated customization options while ignoring narrative context is even worse because it reduces the protagonist to a blank canvas. Stop you there. This is the franchise that began with Trainer Red, a character named after the game title who canonically never speaks. It's ... Trainer Red. That's it. That was his whole personality, was catch 'em all, no voice, and that he kind of looked like Ash from the anime. And that's it. And then when you go back to battle him, he literally says ... 9 times, and then you battle him. That's it. Trainer Red from Pokemon Red. The blank canvas in that series. That's what we're talking about here. Yeah, it's just so goofy.
And fandom has changed. Like, it has changed, like, over the last couple of decades. It's gotten very weird. I mean, I feel like we're at this point now where if there's something you like, no matter what age you are, though, like, people take it as a personal attack if you don't like something. You don't like what I like? Oh, well, that's my identity. You don't like Ghostbusters? That's my identity. That's all. Like, I've placed my whole life around it. Like, but it's weird. You shouldn't take it as a personal attack. People are gonna like different things from you, and that's just the hard truth. But people defend their fandom like crazy, like nuts. I have a friend who gets really upset if you badmouth Boba Fett.
No, but opposite, Greg. It's the opposite. They defend their lack of fandom almost as vociferously. Like it's a new era on the internet that I would say is really post this third Star Wars trilogy. It's gotten to be absurd where actresses are getting death threats and shit. Like, it is a weaponization of hatred of things that is way worse than it used to be when it was just people arguing in the threaded comment system. It's like actual death threats over Ghostbusters or over Star Wars or like doxing developers and shit. Like, it's gotten out of hand, Greg. And I'm not saying this is that, but this is in that same neighborhood. And it's like insane. It's really insane behavior is my point. Like, that's why I'm making fun of it, but also that's why we're drawing attention to it, because it's fundamentally wrong to act like this. And it's on both sides, Greg. Like, yeah, you can be like such a fan of something that like you blindly love everything they do, and the minute someone says something negative about anything, you're going to attack them. But what I've seen in the last few years is the opposite. Where I hate something, you like that thing, how dare you? How dare we keep posting Mario Kart World footage? It's an $80 game, it's trash. I'll get to why I think the more I play Mario Kart World, the more I disagree with that statement. But yeah, I don't know, is there anything else you want to pick apart here, Donovan?
No, I think it's silly. I really wanted to reply to it when I first read it. Bill advised me not to, which is probably the smarter call there. But yeah, people are strange, man. I cannot imagine spending
my... That dude has watched the Pokemon movie, the first one, way too many times. Like he's like probably has it on repeat on his like computer, just watching it again and again and again and again.
I like
the very first one.
I like the Pokemon movies. They're good. I'm basic ass fan over here. My favorite Pokemon is Pikachu. Like it's like I readily admit
Good
that.
pick.
I'm not like the guy who cares about like the couch Pokemon that dropped in Gen 9 or whatever. Like I don't give a shit about most of these Pokemon. Like I don't
You don't
have
like keys?
no
Be nice to
Keys,
Couchy.
Kiwi?
the Bong. Like I thought the Bong one was good, however many generations ago that was. But like it's not something I'm never gonna get super mad about these. You know what I'm talking. It was like a smokestack one or something.
I have a stack of like Apple
Oh.
turnover cards. I need to send it on when they get
Maybe.
like ridiculously huge. Just all the Apple dumpling Pokemon guy, the little thing. Donovan knows
Oh,
what I'm talking
I
about.
love Applin, the grass dragon.
Yeah, Apple. Dude, I have a
It's evolved
stack. And
into
the second it gets like this, I'm just
Flapple.
gonna send you all of them.
That's a good Pokemon.
I can't. Wow, if you Google Bong Pokemon, you will
You
see
get
some.
some crazy.
Oh,
I
hey,
think
it's
are you
wheezing.
talking about
It's wheezing.
Galarian Wheezing, yeah.
Yes.
They gave it because when they did the Galar region, which is supposed to be like England, they gave it like a top hat, but it's like a smokestack.
It looks like a bong.
yeah.
And people have straight up made
it's like a
bongs that
bong.
look like it now. You can buy them on the internet, apparently.
Yeah, that checks out.
So, but yeah, don't Google Pokemon Bong, kids. Or that guy who emailed us or person who emailed us, Google Pokemon Bong. Maybe hit it a couple times next time you think about emailing Shacknews. But holy shit. Like, some people need to chill out a little bit, I guess is kind of my message there.
Very much, yeah.
And yeah, I did want to ridicule you because that is such a stupid thing to say. Also, like, I just have a question about their comment on the Battle Royale format. This is not really a Battle Royale. This is it's like a rank game. Like, you're trying to go from Z to A in a rank, right? That happens in that battle at night thing, right?
And I think why they're calling it that is because that tournament is called the ZA Royale.
Yeah.
Is what they call it. Like the progression from rank Z to A, but there's no last man standing battle royale. It's a single player progression in a story game.
That is
it is not a battle royale thing.
That is a strong reading comprehension fail there. Because I've watched your gameplay of the Royale mode or whatever you want to like that I don't know even what it is. Like it's just the time of day, right? And that's not a battle royale. There's no shrinking circle. There's not 100 Pokemon traders on the field. It's not a battle royale. So that is just literally a word. All I know is ChatGPT did not write this. That's human delusion. That's human delusion right there, folks. ChatGPT could never be this insane. So congratulations, OpenAI. They didn't get sued last week by Nintendo. So yeah, I guess just think twice before you email a Shack News editor about a review opinion. Now, by all means, if we get something wrong, a release date's incorrect, the price of a game is incorrect, the frame rate of a game is incorrect, by all means, let us know. We want to be correct. But the idea that you can correct someone's opinion is fundamentally flawed, and go fuck yourself. Thank you. That's the official statement from the owner, CEO, editor-in-chief, EIEIO. My God, do we need extreme intelligence right now if this is what's coming in our inbox. And let me tell you, this isn't the first time we've had an email like this. But this is maybe the dumbest, so congratulations. Donovan. This is a Donovan-heavy episode. And Greg-heavy, because Greg, you both got a chance to play this. Greg, you've been everywhere this year. You've been freaking everywhere this year. Donovan, you've been traveling a lot too, but mainly to New York a lot. You're kind of like the East Coast guy now. You're basically posted up in New York. So you were at New York Comic Con. Was that last week or 2 weeks ago?
It was last week, yeah.
Last week. Greg, you were at Tokyo Game Show about a month ago. A little less than a month ago. But you both got to try out the ROG Xbox Ally and the ROG Xbox Ally X. Or at least, Greg, you got to see it. Donovan, since you had a little bit more time, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, so I got to play, I believe it was the Ally X specifically that I played, which is like the beefier one. And they had a bunch like laid out, so I think it was just color variants were different. They're like the white and
No,
and
the
black
white
color
one
options.
is the non-X.
Okay, so I played both then.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, they had like a few games installed on it. It was like Forza Horizon 5, Gears of War Reloaded, and then Hollow Knight, Silk Song, which I played all three of those. natively. A lot of it was similar to like a Steam Deck sort of thing, where you're just on like a not a web interface, but like a mobilized version of a web interface, where instead of Steam OS now it's the Xbox OS. I forget what they specifically call it, but you've got like your library button and then game thing.
It's
Since
it's
it's
actually
Xbox,
it's actually just Windows 11.
well, I mean like the Xbox like store though. Like
Yeah, it's a UI
um,
that runs on Windows 11 on that device. It is an
yeah.
Xbox UI on Windows 11.
Yeah.
But continue, please.
Yeah, you see your game like library and stuff like you would on Xbox. There's like the Game Pass section, and then there's like the cloud thing, right? Where it's like here's the games you can just like launch right now and play through the cloud. Um, and I didn't have any really issues with it. I think the one thing that immediately stuck out to me was that it took a long time to load up Gears, which when I started it was something that happened to me when I first got my Steam Deck, where it was like I'd click launch a game and it's doing like the anti-cheat thing, and then it's like wait, update this thing, start over, blah blah blah. But then once you get in, it was fine. Um, it's Xbox, so it's got all the UI there. It's their layout of ABXY. It's got the you got the Xbox button, which brings up the pops out the side menu if you want to switch games or open up a different app or whatever. But I mean, actually running and playing a game, felt good. It ran well. It wasn't like hitching or like crashing, or anything. Um, Hollow Knight looked nice. I don't know if it's an OLED screen or not. I don't think it is.
No.
But yeah, all that felt fine. I didn't get to test like any of the library like merging. I think that's a thing where you can have like your Steam or Epic Games, whatever PC libraries. Apparently, I think you can have all in there. The grips are essentially like they're like the grips on an Xbox controller. Essentially, it's like one to one, like the pieces that you would hold of an Xbox controller, then the big console pieces in the middle. Screen felt slightly smaller than like a Steam Deck or even a Switch 2. I don't have the measurements in front of me, but just at a eyeball test, it did feel a little bit more compacted. Um, so that's a thing if that concerns you. I did have it plugged up most of the time, so I couldn't really speak to battery. It didn't like die on me or anything uh, while I was using it. But I think my general impressions were like that's like it's a decent, fine enough handheld. I wasn't like oof, this is terrible or oh my God, this is the best thing I've touched. Um, I thought it was perfectly serviceable for what it's supposed to be.
So both
In my
devices have a 7-inch FHD 1080p display, but they are
yeah,
not
which I
they're not OLED.
and that is smaller than I think Steam Deck and Switch 2, right?
I'd have to Google that shit. Give me a second.
Sorry, at least they feel larger. I don't know, maybe part of it's
Yeah, the
just
Switch 2
actual
is 7.9
bezel and
inches
whatnot.
in diameter, so it's almost a full inch smaller in diagonal than the Switch 2
Hmm.
screen. And the
Yeah,
Switch 2 screen is also not OLED. It is HDR, but
yeah,
they both support up to 120 hertz. They're similar in a lot of ways.
yeah. And maybe part of that is I think maybe the like the what do you call it the bezel is a little like
Sure.
thick on like the bottom and top, which I think makes the screen feel a bit smaller.
Hmm.
That's one thing I really liked about the Switch 2 is that they kind of really thin that out, so you feel like you're getting all the screen space.
And even with the
So
OLED, they thinned it out from the original Switch. Like that's been the original Switch bezel was huge, and kind of sucked
mm,
because like when you detach the controllers, you had like a almost more than half an inch on every side that was just bezel. Uh,
yeah,
so the handles, I want to talk about the ergonomics here because you didn't really have that much time with it. You own
yeah,
a Steam Deck, right?
I do. Yes,
Did you think it was materially better to hold than a Steam Deck?
I think more comfortable. Yeah, I think just because of the actual grips, because it's straight up like I'll grab my handy dandy Starfield controller. It's like these, like
Yeah.
that you hold on to, then you like reach up and touch the buttons, which does feel better than whatever the Steam Deck has going on. Which I love my Steam Deck to death, but it is kind of it's a little cumbersome with
It
the hand
also,
pieces. They kind of just
I'm trying to
jet
think,
outwards.
like the button placement on the Steam Deck is a little weird. As you know, because they have the
It's like yanked up to the top. Yeah.
yeah, and
Which
sorry, go ahead.
it's I will say it's like with these like handheld PCs and like switches and mobile gaming devices, it's just like it's like every tiny little design decision just influences so much because while I like the grips on the ROG Xbox Ally X, it makes the thing huge. Like it makes it large when it sits on a table. there's like this much room between like the screen and the surface of the table. Whatever case you get for this is gonna have to be like built custom for this. You're not slipping this into any like bag or small satchel you've got now. So there's always like a give and take with all that stuff.
I've actually tried this out too. I wasn't invited to some fancy thing in New York. I didn't go to this fancy ass Tokyo game show or anything like this guy over here. I was in Canton, Ohio at a Best Buy, and they have one of these set up. And the thing that I liked, compared to my deck, and this is really one of my biggest complaints about the deck, I don't like the location of the D-pad on the Steam Deck at all. It's top left of the device. It's like very high up and on the edge. And yeah, that's true of the ABXY buttons as well. I do think that the button placement and the D-pad placement in the ROG Ally makes sense. Because like you said, it's mimicking the Xbox vernacular for where those buttons are placed and where those joysticks are placed. And I think that's, personally, like on my PC, I play with an Xbox One controller or One X controller. I will say I don't like the D-pad of the Xbox controller family, but I like the placement of the D-pad better. Did you try that out at all, or were you mainly playing with the analog?
I used the D-pad a good bit when I was playing Hollow Knight.
Yeah.
Gears and Forza, I was an analog stick mainly.
Sure.
But I thought it felt good. For one, I really like the Xbox controller, like just the actual traditional one. It's my preferred controller. If I could just have a controller that I use for everything, it'd probably be that one.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't mind any of the buttons and stuff. All that felt fine. I do think I don't know what you call them at this point. Back in my day, we had start and select, but whatever like the start select equivalent is, where there's all the like little tiny.
They're so weird. It's three
Nobody
lines.
knows what to call those.
Three lines and two concentric boxes or something. I don't know.
They're like these weird parallelogram shapes.
Yeah, I think one is called options and the other is called I don't know, pause. I'm not entirely sure what they even call them anymore. But yes, those are there. Congratulations, ROG Xbox, Ally X, and whatever. So Gears, fun, good.
Yeah.
Would you like? Yeah. How long would you want to play? Like Gears is something like my play sessions back in the day with Gears. Like that would be hours and hours of time playing with it. Could you see yourself holding this device to play it for an extended period of time?
Battery depending. I could see myself just sitting there and doing like an hour or 2 hours or whatever. I don't think I usually go longer than that on any handheld.
Forget battery. Thing. In this hypothetical, you have a power bank with it plugged into the thing, so you don't have to worry about running out of battery. You're on a flight, you're flying to LA or something. Is this something you would enjoy holding for an extended period of time?
Maybe. I don't know if I'd want it on a flight because again it's a bit bulky, and even pulling out like the Steam Deck on a plane, I'm like. So I may have some reservations about putting this on like the food tray they give you. But I didn't have any like comfort issues with the screen is fine enough to look at. I think all that would be fine. I think the Windows 11 of it all is still yet to be seen, right? Because what Steam Deck is Linux, which is like it's
big picture too. Like they built their own
big picture mode,
their own dedicated Linux launcher kind of thing that's very streamlined. Like I love big picture on Steam Deck. Like it is. I love
it on Steam Deck. Hate it on PC.
Oh, I don't want to use it on PC at all.
No.
Oddly enough, I use it on Mac. When I can launch a game from Steam on my Mac, I do use Big Picture there. It's very weird, but I do use it there. I love it on the deck, though. I think it's the perfect place for Big Picture. And I think that they've done a really good job of like making a Steam Deck OS environment. This is very much a Windows 11 device, and I just want people to know that when considering purchasing that. Not to mention the price. But when you went back to your Switch 2 after holding this thing, is the thinness of the Switch 2 not impressive? Like,
it is. It's very sleek, man. The Switch 2 is such a sleek device, which is what I just keep coming back to, compared to all of these PC handhelds.
Like, it's very thin. It's almost like Apple-like in how they iterated on it. From the first Switch, and even the OLED, even the Lite, to the Switch 2. Like, I had, I don't know, I've been uploading some Mario Kart clips to YouTube to just kind of keep the feed full of, Cal, doing my part as the tribal chief of the Cal mains.
In
But
God's work.
and but yeah, like I was watching TV, I was watching football or something while I was doing it. So I was using my Switch in handheld, which I like rarely do. I rarely use my Switch 2 in handheld lately. But I was like, wow, this thing is like really well made compared to a lot of past Nintendo devices, and it's like sleek and it feels nice in the hand. But yeah, it's a stark contrast now when you look at all these devices and you put them on the table and then you like look at how thin the Switch 2 is and like what they get out of it. It's quite impressive.
That's a really nifty little device, yeah.
But Greg, you tried it out. I think you mainly tried out the white version, the Ally, not the Ally X in TGS.
Yeah, they had that bunch of allies on the board because I think the X was like like David said, slightly bigger. It has like better processor, I think, and like that's the peak.
No, it has more storage. It has double the storage. It has 8 gigs more RAM, and it has a better processor. It also has, I want to say it has slightly different analog joysticks. I'm not sure if that's true. They might both have the Hall effect ones on them. But yeah, it also has a better battery, Greg. But yeah, it's I'm sure the battery is informed because of the processor and because of the RAM in it and stuff. But yeah, it's like if you're going to install more than COD on this thing, you're probably going to have to get the X cuz COD's going to take up more than half of the storage on this thing.
I mean, storage aside, I would just love to see COD running on this thing at all.
Yes.
I think would be very impressive. Which I did because I was looking at it, and it's like the actual like Xbox Game Pass menu as it existed. It was like promoting the Black Ops thing. And I was like, God, I wish I could just hit launch on Black Ops 7 right now just to see what it looks like on this thing, but
yeah, I think
too early.
Honestly, because like I'd say that's one of the ones that people are going to want to use this with, right? Like it's one of the biggest games of the year.
That'd be the big pull. If you can put out a trailer and you're like, here's Black Ops running at 60 FPS, just handheld, that'd be your one thing that you can't do anywhere else.
And then immediately, Doug Bowser just deploys his ninjas to Redmond and they drop out of helicopters like, you agreed to support Switch for 10 years and you haven't shipped one COD as his final act as president of Nintendo of America. I'm just saying, Microsoft, what's going on there? But sorry,
I have a question for Donovan and for Greg. Actually, I feel a little bit like I'm in Bizarro land because I recall talking on this very podcast how I think we all agree that the Switch 2 is a very sleek device, but I don't find it comfortable to hold at all. That's why I don't play it in handheld mode.
It's heavy.
So it's heavy. It's heavy. It hurts my hands. So I don't know. Just from what Donovan was saying, the ROG Ally X, whatever the hell it's called.
ROG Xbox Ally X.
ROG Xbox Ally X feels or sounds more comfortable to me. And I don't plan on getting one, but it does sound like it's more comfortable.
I recommend going to the Best Buy.
I should do that.
I recommend David, I recommend going to the Best Buy on the Strip and trying it out. My only problem, and I think this was the case with both of your demos too, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, were they tethered to something when you were trying them?
Security wire for me.
One was, I did play on one that wasn't. They just had like chargers that you could like plug in,
but
you could take them out.
Like my problem with all these devices, and I it's been a problem I've had, David. You're right. Early on, like I was more talking about the industrial design of the Switch. It feels nice in the hand. It is still too big. It's still too heavy. I do think that the increase in the size of the Joy-Con has made it less hand crampy for me than the original Switch. But it's the weight. I think these things are all too heavy. But like I'm clearly in the minority because like seeing a lot of people talking about how much they love their decks and they love the Switch 2 in handheld. The other big problem with Switch 2 in handheld that I think everyone has kind of universally said is it is not good when it comes to battery life. Like it's bad.
Yeah. Right.
It chews through. I noticed that playing Pokemon because I did test it in handheld. And it feels like when I play handheld, most of my sessions are ended by the battery warning, not me being tired of playing. I'm just like, all right, it's time to dock this thing, and if I really want to play, I'll play on TV mode, or I'll just come back to it later.
There was a guy in our flight to Tokyo next to me that had a Steam Deck, and 3 hours into the flight, he ran out of battery power, and it was plugged in. Like
Did you see what he was playing?
It couldn't charge as fast as it was draining, so he just had to shove it away. My Switch Lite lasted. It was plugged in most of the time, but it lasted the whole flight without going dead. and
Yeah.
that's like a 10-hour flight, 11-hour flight.
So yeah, why are you giving us pounds, Nintendo?
No, it's
My understanding is that the Switch 2 weighs 540 grams with the Joy-Cons attached. The ROG Xbox Ally X weighs 715 grams. So if the weight is the issue for you with the Switch 2, it's going to be more of an issue on this thing.
I think it's also my hands do cramp using the Switch.
Yeah, it's the button placement and even the analog placement. Like, I get it. A lot of people have problems with that. That's why there were all those grips released with the first Switch, right? Like these third-party grips that actually, I think, Greg, you kind of swear by it, right? Like you have one of those.
Yeah.
So I agree on that front, David. Like it was weird. I got used to it with the Switch because for me it was the weight. I think is the bigger concern for me. It's two things. It's the weight and the battery life. Because I didn't have a problem holding the DS or the 3DS, and those were much smaller. It's the button placement too, I think. And that goes back to the Shacknews Switch 2 review that has not been filed by me. It's iterative. They didn't really change much with the Joy-Con. It's just slightly bigger. It's the same Yeah, they detach differently, but the button placement's the same. The D-pad isn't a D-pad. It's a freaking D button still. You know, like they made those choices, right? And like I know you love the traditional D-pad, like right, David? Like that's and that's something that's still missing on this tradition on the vanilla Switch 2. When you get it out of the box, you have D buttons. You don't have Hall effect analogs. Yes, the analogs are bigger, but they're still the same style. You're still going to get drift from these things. Like, so many things that they could have done, they didn't. And I find that incredibly frustrating, but I think on the other end, from a backwards compatibility standpoint, that like our Pro controllers work with Switch 2, our previous Joy-Con work with Switch 2. Like I like that aspect of it. But I do. It is whenever the hell I finish this review, it is a big negative for me. Is that they didn't take enough iterative steps when it came to controllers, and that's usually for me when you get a next gen Nintendo system. The new controller is like part of the big reason you're buying the thing. Is that like N64 was like, here's the first analog ever, right? Or like on a mainstream console. The Wii was revolutionary. The GameCube controllers may still be the best industrial design like ever in a controller. When it came to weight, when it came to button placement, sure, you can argue about the radial buttons around the giant A button, but like there's a lot that they got right there outside of the octagonal issues with those analog joysticks. And the lack of two shoulder buttons, right? Like there's iterations that have occurred to those things. But like with Switch 2 from 1, there was like no like holy shit moment. Wow, this controller is materially better. I think like the Switch 2 Pro controller is better than
I was going to say that's material better, but the out of the box experience isn't that.
It's not a wow moment. It's not like, oh my god, look at this Wiimote and this nunchuck. It's not this. Yeah. It's not this holy crap. Look at this amazing Wii U gamepad that 3 million people bought on launch year. But like, it's not every one of them's a home run, I guess is my point. This wasn't even like they just bunted. They weren't even trying to swing here. It was just like boop. And that I agree with you, David. Like I don't want to conflate these 2 points. Like my point about it was just the feel of the device is so much better materially. Like the actual material and industrial design of it is better than the original Switch, is better than the Switch 2, the Switch OLED. Definitely better than the Switch Lite, which I'm shocked that Greg's still using a Switch Lite in the year of our Lord Doug Bowser 2025. But like, that's just crazy to me. But also like, I understand, Greg, you're on a long trip. You want a portable device. The Switch 2 is massive compared to the Switch Lite. The Switch Lite's almost the size.
The Switch 2 either.
Huh?
I don't have grips yet for that either.
Yeah, but the Switch Lite is almost the size of the entire screen on the Switch 2. I haven't really traveled long distance with the Switch 2, but I can tell you I will use it in tabletop mode more than I
I
will.
do that too. With the Pro Controller.
Yes,
With the Pro Controller.
That's it. That's going to be the way I play it on trips, because I love the Pro Controller. I also have an 8-bit do that like I'll bust out if I'm playing like a game where I need a D-pad or something. But like, it's a portable TV to me now more than it is a freaking handheld, and that's a problem. Like, that's been a problem I've listed since the jump here. I'm like, this thing's big, and it's because all of these are big. This thing's humongous compared to the Switch 2. This Xbox, the ROG Xbox Ally X. Whose grandmother is going to buy the wrong one this Christmas?
All of them.
Right?
I mean, you're an audacious child if you're even asking for one of those. I wouldn't even have put a $700 whatever $1,000 system on my Christmas wish list.
For Christmas.
My mom would have took one look at that one and been like, yeah, let's think about that.
This has Lee Carvalho's putting challenge written all over it, Greg. Like, this is a Lee Carvalho situation. Because not only is there an ROG Xbox Ally and a ROG Xbox Ally X, there's also just a ROG Ally.
Yeah.
And it's
they
cheaper.
Had more customization options in Japan, too. I mean, I don't know if it's standard. They had memory upgrades for different versions and RAM upgrades for different versions, which I thought maybe, I don't know if that was just a regional thing, because I was like, well, these are different. They listed different RAM speeds and different.
The white one in America is one spec, and the black one is a different spec.
That's not Japan. They had multiple different specs on the table, which is weird.
Tariffs. Also, but like, if you're sitting there, you're someone's poor grandmother who's like apparently rolling in dough, because these all cost $600 or more.
Retirement money.
The ROG Xbox Ally costs $600 at Best Buy. The ROG Ally 7, the ROG Ally with 7-inch screen costs $650. And then I don't know if grandma like hit big at bingo or something, but like $1,000 for the ROG Xbox Ally X here in America. That's American currency. And that's in October, right? We'll see what happens next month. I think this is a continuation of terrible naming of products from Microsoft.
It is terrible. I'll tell you what. It's good reverse psychology, though. If you really want to switch to, put ROG Xbox Ally X on your Christmas list. Have your parents balk at that price, and then be like, well, switch to.
There you go.
Half the price. There you go.
There you go. You just hooked up every kid with either the Mario Kart bundle or the Pokemon ZA, the Legend ZA bundle, which is also $4.99. $4.99.99 suddenly doesn't seem insane in this environment where
Nobody wants a Toshiba Handybook, David. Nobody wants the iPad.
Yeah. That South Park episode's outstanding.
The interesting thing about that handheld, though, I don't know if they had this at New York Comic Con, Donovan, but they had it plugged into monitors, like via like Thunderbolt or HDMI, mini HDMI, and then they had a keyboard and mouse controls coming out of the ROG Ally, and the person was just they didn't speak much English, but they were just showing me like how it's native Windows 11. So like I can use this as a word processor. I could probably install Premiere on the thing and edit. So I would say like arguably it's a little more versatile than like a Steam Deck.
No bullshit. If I had my gavel, I'd be hitting it right now. I could do all that on a Steam Deck. I could do that all on a Steam Deck years ago.
I thought it runs natively on their own on a Linux OS though, but you can install Windows.
You can install Windows on it. You can install Windows on it if you want to, if you hate life. But like, why are you saying Windows 11 is a feature? Are you insane? Have you used Windows 11?
Install programs that I can on the Switch.
Dude, please. Right? Please buy this and install Premiere on it. I want to know how shitty it is.
Please buy this.
Please, for the love of God, for science. I want to know.
I thought it would be really cool to test Premiere on
Shacknews, please buy this and install Premiere on it for the love of God. I just want to know. Like, because, Greg, come on, man. You think this thing's going to run Premiere well?
No, I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying you have the option to, like, for $600, it's a pretty decent PC on the go.
I think he brings up
Word or mail. You know what I mean? Like other than a laptop,
but you
right,
have
that can actually game. That like it kind of adds.
I have experienced this though, man. It is infuriating using this thing in the docked mode. I own the fucking ROG Ally. I own one. I handed it to David. I said, "Here's this piece of shit. Here, try to start a game on it." This is before the Xbox UI was put on this thing. It was so infuriating because you're using a fucking cursor on a Windows cursor on a handheld screen. It was infuriating to use this. Yes, you can dock it, but that is not some like huge advantage over the Steam Deck. You can do that on a Steam Deck. You can install Windows on a Steam Deck. You can. I don't recommend it, but you can. Like, that's the thing about Steam Deck. It is the hobbyist device. Out of all of these handhelds, it's the one with the most optionality, in my opinion.
Right.
But
it to be modded and customized.
Yeah, but with it comes all the bullshit you have to deal with when you build your own PC or whatever, right? Like, or when you have a Hackintosh, or you have a jailbroken Switch 1. Like, all the bullshit that comes with that comes with the Steam Deck if you're that kind of hobbyist. But I love the optionality there. This is a Windows device. Telling me that it can run Windows 11 is not a selling point to me. It just isn't. But, like, I would love... God, I hope someone does what you're talking about. Because
I'd love to see a comparison, yeah, just how fast the renders are, if it performs smoothly or not.
MKBHD, if you're out there listening, please do the needful. We didn't get a review unit. Gee, I wonder why. All I do is talk shit about Microsoft on this show, every show I've ever been on, every platform that I have a social media account. I think even today, a video about how shitty Microsoft went live in our vertical video platforms. But, like, was I wrong? $100 billion on software for what? Last point about this, and I've made this point before, Greg, but, like, if Microsoft really cared about this form factor, why are they having ROG build it?
Less risk.
Exactly. Why are they taking less risk on this?
Reminds me of remember the Alienware TVs? They're like that. Steam had nothing to do with them. They just outsourced it. Sure, whatever. Yeah, you can do it.
Steam. What was it? Steam boxes, Steam machines,
Steam boxes or Steam machines. Yeah, those were all over at CES.
We were there.
They just went away.
We were there when Gaben revealed like the 8 partners. And none of them were actually Valve making a box. But here, we've seen Valve make the Index. We've seen Valve make the Deck. Right? And these are, like, really well thought out products. Similar in the sense that they have their own OS, and they have their own launcher and stuff. But if Xbox really thought they had a winner here, I don't think they would have partnered with ROG. And the other part of this is that so much of this is based on an existing product from like a year or two ago that was it was like an also run deck. And I know some people who swear by the ROG Ally, the original one. I hate the ergonomics of it, and I think this is to me, the big change here are the handles. Like, Donovan, that's like the thing for me, is that it feels like an Xbox when you're holding it because of those handles and the button placement. That, to me, is the biggest selling point. Is that worth $300 more? I don't think so. Is that worth... I think you could buy a PS5 base digital edition and a Switch 2 for the price of an Xbox... a ROG Xbox Ally X. I would rather do that. If I didn't have any of these devices, I would buy a PS5 and a Switch 2. But, you'd have to wait a few months for Microsoft to give up on this and then port everything over to Switch 2. Because I think that's where this is headed. If this thing doesn't take off and go to the moon, well, at least they know how to optimize for handhelds now.
I really wish, this company's never been transparent ever, but I really should be like, no, here was the price before the tariffs. So you can think, they'll never do that, but that would be great. They were originally going to be 300 and 450, but now with the tariffs, but they'll never say that. They wouldn't even say tariff on their last story. They said changes in macroeconomic
macroeconomic headwinds and conditions. They didn't even say headwinds. They just said conditions.
This thing has been in development for like multiple years in R&D, and then having the tariffs come in and instantly like have to double the price. We don't know if it's double, could be triple. We have no idea. Right? We'll never know.
We know. I know. Because the current tariff environment is 30% for things made in China. It's 10%, 15% on things made in Vietnam. Nintendo, with the ideal chess move, moved all of production for American Switch 2s to Vietnam. Every other Switch 2 that's shipping elsewhere is being made in China still. We know, because you look at how much a Switch 2 costs in Japan. You saw it, Greg. How much Amiibo cost in Japan. How much accessories cost in Japan. Versus how much all those things cost in America now. You have a very good idea of the impact on Nintendo prices. But because this is Xbox, and they don't even tell us how many units they've sold of anything, we don't know. They're the least transparent. They're like the third largest or second largest company in the world, depending on what day it is and where their stock is. And they don't tell us shit. So we don't know. But I can tell you, it's only a 30% impact. So I'm not saying that's nothing. But this thing still probably would have cost more than the Switch 2, is my point. If everything being equal, we didn't know. So let's say some parallel universe, Kamala Harris is president, we don't have a trade war going on. Switch 2 probably costs $399.99 in America. And this device, the Xbox, the X, right, the ROG Xbox Ally X, probably costs around $700 or $600. So it still would have been cheaper to buy a Switch 2, all things being equal. I still give Nintendo props. They shot from the hip the day that the tariffs were announced, 8 hours before the tariffs were announced. And they haven't raised the price on the Switch 2 yet. Yes, they've raised prices on every other thing, but they have not raised prices on the Switch 2 yet. I think that's pretty impressive, given how many price increases we've seen on the Xbox platforms and the Xbox accessories, how many price increases we've seen on the original Switch, the Switch Lite, the Switch OLED, and a lot of Switch accessories. And then, the PlayStation, Donovan, like both the Pro and the PlayStation have seen one price increase so far. But like, given that environment, Switch 2 is like, I think the second least expensive product that you can get from those three companies right now. The baseline PS5 digital, I think, is what, $4 something?
Right? Is that the $499 yet? I forget.
It's close.
Mine was $399 when I bought it 5 years ago. It's more than
$500.
It's now $500. So I guess the Switch 2. It's the Series S is cheaper than the Switch 2 right now. I think that's the only thing that's cheaper. But anyway, it came out this year and it's actually more affordable than things that Donovan bought 5 years ago. That's a completely different issue. But leaving the affordability of this aside, I think the ergonomics look interesting in this device, but I think it's too heavy, and I don't even use my Steam Deck, so I'm not sure if this is for me. And
according to you, it weighs more than a Steam Deck.
It does.
It weighs more than the Steam Deck.
It does. And it doesn't have an OLED screen, which my Steam Deck OLED does. So that's another thing.
I think to me, the perfect use case, trying to think of who this would be for, specifically, I think if you were somebody who was already deeply into the Xbox ecosystem, you had a Series X or S, maybe you stocked up on 12 months of the old Game Pass price or whatever, so you're good for the next couple years or whatever. Then maybe I could see the appeal of having an LAX, and I've had it because all my friends play on Xbox. I've had them ask me when they've seen announcements what's up with this? Is this something I should be looking at or whatnot? I think if you checked all those boxes, then I could see the use for it, because it does do the play anywhere thing. If you turned off Gears or whatever on your console and pick the thing up, you just jump into your save. It's got all that. And I think the biggest barrier is just that it's expensive to be in the Xbox ecosystem, because Game Pass is expensive. Xbox consoles are expensive. So I think you have to check a lot of very specific boxes and use cases to make this make sense. And even then, it's do you got the money moving, properly to buy it? Which, for what it's worth, whenever I cover hardware, I usually leave price out of my opinions because money means different things to everybody. But it's just there's a barrier, I think, for this to be useful.
What's important is what can it do? What value does it offer people? Is it unique? It was Time Magazine, man. Time Magazine said that both the ROG Xbox Ally X and Switch 2 were the best inventions of the year 2025. Okay. I guess
this reminds me this reminds me of the year where we were doing the award for, it was like best hardware, and it was like nothing came out. Would we get like a PlayStation?
MacBook Pro?
Maybe MacBook Pro was one. It was like a PlayStation thing we gave it to as well. I don't know if it was a controller, like a Pro thing. Yeah. There are a couple of those where like nobody made anything that really stands out.
Yeah.
So
but that's,
somebody by default has to be the best new thing.
But that's best hardware. That's not best invention.
Yeah, invention's a strong word.
Like, and I said the same thing about the Switch 2's award as well as the Xbox. God, I fucking hate the name of this thing. The ROG Xbox Ally X. That's a stupid name. I'm sorry.
It's an interesting point. I was thought about this earlier when you were saying the names, that like in the same year that Nintendo bucked like all previous trends and named a console the Switch 2, after like the company that brought you the Wii U and all these like weird, cool names of stuff, that Xbox is like kind of tripping over themselves with their like, because that's one of their many issues, that they just don't know how to name shit after the 360, which is a very cool console name. They just have like repeatedly given their hardware weird names, and we see Nintendo learning that lesson in the same year that they are pushing out a very strangely named piece of hardware.
Xbox U would have been better.
Xbox U.
Xbox U would have been better. Zune Deck was just sitting there. They could have done Zune Deck.
They called it the Xbox 720.
That, any of these, like
the speculation was wild for 720. I remember when they launched their
because the 360
that was a big joke, right? The Xbox 1280, whatever, like kept on,
360
blue instead of green.
Like that's, but what's funny, Dom? You're like, here's the person who this is for. You're describing me. Like I can afford it. I've been using Xbox since the original system. I have a ton of purchase history on my Xbox One, my Xbox 360, my Xbox Series. Not really, but like, I checked the box, and I'm not buying this thing because it's just, I already have a deck. I barely use it. I bought a brand new PC. Like when I want that PC experience, I'm still gonna want to play it on a desktop. And when I want the handheld portable, I should say, experience, I don't know if there is a handheld out there for me right now that's new. They're all too big. And that's why I'm like, I would actually buy a Switch 1 Micro if it released this year. I would I would eat that shit up. But like, go ahead, Greg.
My thought on this, and also please chime in on this, because like there's a lot of people who love early adopting technologies, right? No matter how weird they are, or how like proprietary they are. Like I mean, like they will sell some. Doesn't mean a lot, right? They'll still sell some. Like the Vision Pro. Like who is that for? Right, it's for early adopters, right? Like arguably, like that would you say? Like, who was that? Like the same thing for like when you have the Steam Deck out and the Switch 2 and now ROG Ally. Like who? There's no way that those early adopters make a large percentage of enough to sell it to make a profit, or for it to be profitable, right?
No, they don't.
I know that's a market. I just know that is a market. Some people release something really weird and expensive, and people will buy it.
There's a market for me farting in a box and mailing it to you. It might be one person, but that's a market. There's different sizes of markets, man, and like I don't. It says everything about the market analysis that Jason Schreier reported that Microsoft kind of shelved their own handheld. They did.
Yes. Yeah.
And we got and this isn't Switch 2 specific, but Mark Cerny and one of the AMD executives sat down and they talked about the new architecture, Project Amethyst, and how they're going to use that to inform the development of the next PlayStation. And there's all these rumors about the next PlayStation having a handheld component. Like, Sony's doing it the right way, I guess is what I'm saying. They're, like, planning ahead. This is so Microsoft, man. Microsoft is the company that spent a decade shipping tablet computers that no one wanted. They were shit. They cost a bunch. They ran Windows on them. They sucked. And then Steve Jobs came out with the iPad and ate their lunch, right? This is very much like that, Greg. It's like, hey, we're doing this too. It's like, okay. In a year from now, are we going to be talking about, oh man, that was a watershed moment for Xbox? No, it's not. This is more like the first... I think Vision Pro is probably a good comparison in some ways. And I think Vision Pro's release is a sign of the times at Apple. And the fact that they even updated it today, did you see, I see that news? They dropped a new chip and they put it in the Vision Pro.
Yeah, I wrote that up for us, yeah.
So, like, that happened. But, like, who's going to buy the $3,500 Apple Vision Pro and not return it? Because I know a bunch of influencers who bought it, talked about it for a week, and returned it before the 2-week period was up. Mine is sitting over there collecting dust still because I'm the guy who buys the stupid shit, usually. I'm not buying this. It doesn't do enough for me to be like, oh, well, I need this. I can play Xbox games on my PC. Hell, you can play Xbox through the cloud, right? Everything's an Xbox, right? I can play Xbox games on my phone with an Xbox controller or on my iPad. So
That's still flabbergasted me. That like when we tried that VR device, remember, that was just a screen. You're like, you can plug anything in it via HDMI and it's a screen. We're like, this is a great idea. And then when they released it, they made it proprietary and they made like the store and they ruined it. When are we going to get to the point where these handhelds are just screens, really nice screens that use other places to do the computing for them, like the cloud, right? But are actually, because Donovan couldn't test the cloud, I couldn't test the cloud, that are actually good. Because I'm waiting for that moment. We don't need to shove all the stuff in a device. We just need to connect it to somewhere, mirrored or something. The PlayStation Portable mirrors, doesn't it? It mirrors, right?
yeah.
So like, where is that? Because I think that's the future. We don't need all this technology in a device. We just need it to connect to somewhere and have something else do the processing. So we don't have a 10-pound device that has 3 hours of battery life.
Do you think the American internet infrastructure can support only cloud gaming?
I know they've tried. I know
It
Grid,
can't.
we're NVIDIA Grid, and now Cloud. Like they've been trying. I know
can't.
they've been trying.
Until we have a true net neutrality in America, this is not going to happen. Like, it just simply won't. But you're right that, like, everything becoming a terminal is inevitable, right? Like, we saw it, like, so many companies that tried to release high-end games on the Switch 1 were forced to go to the cloud for it, right? I think a few Resident Evil games shipped that way. In Japan,
Kingdom Hearts shipped that way.
yeah, in Japan, it ran fine because everyone has gigabit in Japan. It was no big deal. But not everyone has gigabit in America, dude. And I think that's the problem. Until everyone has that kind of bandwidth, it's not going to be viable here. It just won't. But I do think ultimately everything will be a terminal for some sort of cloud service. I think that's where we're headed. And at that point, it becomes who has the best controller? Who has the best online infrastructure? Whose screen is the prettiest? Right? Like that is where we're headed. But like, I don't know, have you played your Google Stadia lately?
Yeah, Google Stadia did it too. Yeah, they tried to do it too. Yeah.
How about OnLive? You guys try OnLive lately? How's OnLive doing? So much of what Microsoft says is in the interest of making line go up. It has no basis in reality. We're going to spend X billion dollars on AI infrastructure. Line go up. Satya Nadella farts and says the word cloud. Line go up. But results, don't have them yet. And they wouldn't even show you the thing running on the cloud in either
Always a red
demo.
flag when they don't want to demo it. Yeah, always a red flag.
I tried xCloud at E3. I had the head of hardware demo it for me. And it was a Gears game. It might have been 4 at the time. The latency was god awful. And you know I was the number one Google Stadia influencer in the universe. I tried to play, it was a 2K version. I don't remember what 2K it was, Donovan. But would you play 2K with input latency, Donovan? Could you try to shoot a 3 in fucking 2K with input latency? No, it's horrible. Now, like, the thing that cloud is perfect for right now, Greg, is turn-based games. And like Google Stadia actually saw success with JRPG and turn-based games. Like that was actually a thing that worked on the cloud. So like I'm not just shitting on the cloud. I would shill for Google Stadia. Maybe it was a joke, maybe it wasn't. I'll let you guys determine in the audience. But yeah, anyway, I want to talk about a real video game before we go. I played Skate Story. Holy shit, this game rules. I fucking love this game. It's a demo. So it's not out on Switch 2. And that kind of brought me to another thought. Like, do you guys think we'll ever see, like, a game preview early access area on the eShop? Probably not. But
No.
like,
I don't think so. I don't think Nintendo likes that. I think they would worry that the consumer would find it a little confusing.
that, but also like the games aren't done. They might not be stable. It might be a bad experience. But like,
Yes.
I do think that it leads to them not selling as many units of something like Hades 2. Because like anyone who's super excited for Hades 2 bought it on Steam Deck because they could play it on Steam Deck months ago, right? And they got to be a part of the development, right? I agree with that. But in this case, Steam Next Fest is going on right now. And Skate Story is out there as a demo. You guys can go on Steam and play it right now. Highly recommend it. It is coming to Switch 2. I cannot wait to play this on Switch 2. This game rules. It's you're a demon. Skateboarding is the devil. You have to deal with philosophical concepts. The art style is outstanding. The music is really fucking good. And people on the YouTube comments said that I should retire from playing video games that are based on skateboarding because I'm an old. Whatever. I'm having a great time playing it. Go download it yourself and upload your own damn gameplay. But yeah, it's so fucking good, you guys. Like, I've played a lot of skateboarding games this year. And yes, we had the GOAT return, right? THPS 3 plus 4. 4, whatever. 3, GOAT. I'm having more fun playing Skate Story.
Wow.
I fucking love this game. It's been a great year for skateboarding, Donovan. It really has. But, like, this is such a unique game. The art style's outstanding. The controls. Oh, man, it feels so good to play. Landing a trick feels good. Ollieing feels good. Grinding feels perfectly natural. It's just so damn intuitive and funny. It pokes fun at video game design. It pokes fun at the devs themselves. It pokes fun at the concept of religion. You know, like, you're literally a demon. And skateboarding is like that's what the devil would do. Like, your whole goal is to eat the moon. It's an absurdist game. But I fucking love it. Oh my god, I love this game. It's coming to Switch 2 in December. Shacknews Awards, please. Hold off the best sports game deliberation, please.
Do we know the date in December? Because that's gonna
That's
matter.
on you and Bill, man. That's whatever we.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I found these two indie.
December 8th.
I know, and that's like around the Octopath time, right, Donovan?
Yeah.
So I know that we're gonna hold off our RPG discussion because Octopath Traveler 0 is coming out. But I'm also like, please, for the love of God, give Skate Story a chance because I might actually vote for it over THPS 3, and I might vote for it over Rematch. Because, by the way, Rematch is a game that should be on Switch 2. It's not. I scored a goal finally, Donovan. I finally scored a goal in that game. Feels great.
Nice. It does.
I won. Feels great. But I have also been surrounded by almost a more toxic community than Rocket League. Like, it is bad. It is not a fun experience. That game desperately needs a single player experience with bots.
It does.
All they need is bots. If they had bots with decent AI or like a season mode, I would vote for best sports game. But, you know, to quote Lee Corso, not so fast, my friends. Skate Story. I submit Skate Story to the Shacknews Awards. It is delightful. I fucking love it. It's like, I was saying, I didn't, when I said it was like Doom but skateboarding, I don't mean like the gameplay. It's not a first-person game. But it's like, you feel like you're the Doom Slayer, but a skater. Like that badass feeling and like...
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Being like that fucking... This like anti-hero. Like, it's got all of that to it. It's got an amazing soundtrack. It's fucking beautiful. It's a single dev. Like, in this environment, in this economy. But yeah, coming to Switch 2. Cannot wait. Definitely going to be buying it for Switch 2. Maybe I'll even review this game. Who knows? Speaking of a game that I'm still reviewing, before we go, I played more Mario Kart World. This has become my happy place, guys. I like playing free roam Mario Kart World just to wind down. Like at the end of the night, there's no pressure, right? I play a lot of F-Zero 99. That's my like, I want to get sweaty, I want to compete, I want to win. I play F-Zero 99. But I want to chill out. I just drive around as Cal on my Rob the Robot motorcycle. And I find P-switches with the help of Shack Maps, obviously. But like, as I progress, I have like something like 150 P-switches now at this point that I've completed. Anyone who's like, there's not enough here, there are 391 P-switches. And as you progress through them, you get better at the core gameplay mechanics that high-level players are using in online play at Nintendo Live tournaments. So it's like, you get better as you play free roam. This idea that, oh, it's just an empty open road, it's not the case. There's a ton of shit to do. And there's also, the more I play it, there's so many homages to different periods in the Mario Kart's history. Like, Choco Mountain. You're just there. You're just in Choco Mountain from N64, and it's just, you're there. Or you're in, like, Mario Circuit, or you're in Moo Moo Meadows. Like, I love that they didn't just, oh, here's the same track again, which is what we got with 8, right? Here's the new version in 8 Deluxe, right? Here's the booster course pass. Here's this GBA level, but it's been 3D-ified, right? Here you go. Instead, you're just driving in a street and you're like, oh my god, I'm in Moo Moo Meadows all of a sudden. Or, oh wow, I'm here. And there's still those like really funny things that happen in the open world. Like where it starts raining question mark blocks. That happened to me again last night. It's become my happy place. I think this is a delightful game. I think that free roam is constantly undersold by people. And it's become my favorite part of the game. Like, yes, it's fun to get together. Our staff streams and we'll play each other. But I'm really just enjoying going through the world, finding places, hearing songs, and clearing P-switches. Like, I've become kind of obsessed with clearing P-switches. I'm doing like about 5 a night, depending on where I am on the map. But yeah, still haven't reviewed the game. It's probably not a 10. Because Donovan hates the character roster right now, and I can't argue with that. The character roster is kind of ass.
I missed the cart customization.
That's another thing to complain about. But tell me that this isn't the best soundtrack of the year.
It might be.
Yeah.
It might be. I think that even by Nintendo standards, I think the Mario Kart World soundtrack is still like slightly underrated. I don't think people realize how much original composition is in there, in addition to the remixes from old stuff.
And like, you'll hear the same song in 2 different versions. Like, you'll hear the same Mario song. One time it's like bossa nova style. The other time it's like upbeat ska version. I'm like, wait a second. I've already heard this song. But this is like another take? I'm not sick of that soundtrack. Like, I will turn that game on and pause it and turn up my TV, and it'll just be my soundtrack for the day. So like I said, it's become my happy place. Absolutely.
You know what would really push the soundtrack from Mario Kart World to the front of a lot of people's minds?
What would that be?
Put it on a music streaming platform where people could just listen to it in full without having to find YouTube videos that people recorded on their account.
If only Doug Bowser, who's listening to this podcast right now, would actually do something like that. But I think there's something like I said, Donovan, that's preventing that. I'm going to this game to hear it. And you're right that it would probably sell more, but I don't think they need any help selling copies of this. This thing outsold Sonic in the UK last month. The launch of Sonic Racing, Crossworlds, Mario Kart World outsold it. It's been out for months. Like, this game is selling, I guess is my point. I'm seeing new people discover it every damn day. I don't know if you guys follow this guy Synth Potato on Twitter. It's funny, like,
I see his tweets pop up, yeah.
He's like just got a Switch 2 and like didn't have a Switch 1, and he's like, I've never played a Mario Kart game before. I'm like, oh boy, are you in for a treat? Because like, I'll say this. It's not that I dislike Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I got tired of it. It was years. It was like 10 years of playing the same fucking game. No longer. The gameplay in Kart World is outstanding. High-level gameplay in Kart World is it's just next level. Like, what you can do. The combination of grinding, wall riding, jumping, the shortcuts that people are still discovering to this day. The meta's still alive. And, like, by the time we got Kart 8 Deluxe in April of the launch year of Switch, the meta was already there. Like, everyone had figured out everything about that game. And then it was like, oh, here's these new levels. Years later.
Yeah.
This is like something fresh and cool and fun. And yeah, part of why it's my happy place is definitely the music. So Would that be a good thing to put on Nintendo Music or bad? I don't know. At some point, they will figure that out. Probably after it crosses like 20 million sold or something. There's going to be some number that they're like, fine, release 10 songs. And then they'll just start drip-dropping Mario Kart World songs on us for like 8 years or something. Because that's how Nintendo Music operates. In a parallel universe, we would have every Pokemon soundtrack on there already. We'd have every Mario game soundtrack on there already. But we don't. Because this is Nintendo. And they had to find a new way to drip-drop on us. Speaking of which, before we go, Nintendo Today was relevant last week.
A gift that keeps on giving.
Sometimes you have to go there, Donovan, for news about a Nintendo Direct. Sometimes you go there for exclusive video that you can't capture for Kirby Air Riders, which is apparently getting another Direct. And sometimes, out of thin air, Nintendo will drop a random short video made by Nintendo Pictures. And then a bunch of jaboofers will claim that it's going to be, this is a teaser for a game, or that's Rosalina, or that's whatever. But the real ones, we knew. That's a Pikmin video. I knew in like 4 seconds that I was watching a Pikmin video. Because the music was...
Rosalina. I was one of those...
I know! I saw it! I saw you! I saw you, Greg.
Oh, I even showed Nicole. She's like, Rosalina, baby Rosalina. I'm like, that's cute.
I mean, they do show a little Pikmin running blurred in the background at the shot that people were putting out.
I'm a fake gamer. I'm so fake.
No.
For what it's worth, though, I mean, obviously, hindsight's 2020. We're in like that 1 to 2 month period where like we should be expecting a new Mario trailer very soon for the movie. So I can get why people thought this was like the start of some viral marketing campaign.
But it looks
Pikmin music and stuff
nothing like the Mario movies. It looked better, in my opinion. It was. I think the assets that we were looking at were better. This looked like a Pixar short. It really did. It looked like, hey, here's a 4-minute video that's just gorgeous. This is Nintendo Pictures at work. By the way, do you know the first game Nintendo Pictures was credited on? No? Anybody? Bueller? Tears of the Kingdom. No. All the cutscenes in The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom were made by Nintendo Pictures. These guys kind of rule. You know what they made before they got rebranded as Nintendo Pictures? You know what their most iconic shit was? Smash right? Ultimate trailers and the World of Light cutscenes. Which, like, I love the World of Light opening cutscene. It's like one of my favorite things ever. Obviously, because Kirby is Ichiban, he's the #1 hero. He saves the day. But it's also just gorgeous. It's like one of the most amazing visuals that Nintendo has ever provided to us. And it's so much so that they bought that company. They said, you're ours now, Nintendo Pictures. This is the first standalone video released by Nintendo Pictures. But it echoes the era, I think it was the 3DS or DS era. I want to say 3DS. It's like 2014. Remember when Nintendo dropped those 3 Pikmin shorts just out of nowhere on they had that Nintendo video platform on 3DS? That's what this is. This is a standalone short. This is not about a game. This is about something much bigger at Nintendo that they've been very clear about. IP expansion. There are places in the world and age groups that don't know Nintendo IP at all, right? South America is an example of a place where their consoles are too expensive. The games are too expensive. A lot of people in Brazil, for instance, don't have the Nintendo Switch, let alone the Switch 2. It's too expensive. But with the Mario movie, they have expanded. It's the Blue Ocean, David. This is their next phase of the Blue Ocean. What better way to reach people than to make a video about a baby taking their first steps? That's going to apply to all the babies who are watching this thing on YouTube Kids, which, by the way, it was uploaded to YouTube an hour after it was on Nintendo Today. And it's going to appeal to any parent. Every parent, hopefully, gets to see their kid take their first step, or celebrates that day. This is a movie about a kid taking its first step, right? A baby taking their first step. And there were a bunch of invisible Pikmin around the first version of it. But Nintendo didn't have enough. They wanted more people to come and log into Nintendo Today, Donovan. They're like, this wasn't good enough. Yeah. So they dropped the exact same thing with Pikmin. Now, I, as a Pikmin nerd and as a Miyamoto stan, knew that to many people, Pikmin are invisible in the real world. That's Miyamoto lore. He's explained it to us in several interviews and even in directs. So Pikmin are invisible. And that's why, like, it was a story about a pacifier moving around throughout the room, right? It ends up on a mobile. The second version shows you, what is it, like thousands of Pikmin on screen. And they're all, like, hanging out. And, boy, people had some really weird conclusions about what that means for where Pikmin could be in the real world. But, it was a Pikmin video. That's all it was. And it appeals to two age groups. It appeals to parents, and it appeals to very young kids. And it was on, the second version wasn't on YouTube Kids. It was only on Nintendo Today. Which brings up a whole other problem. If you didn't see it on Nintendo Today that day, you can't find it now. Because Nintendo Today posts are ephemeral. They disappear. If you don't see them, you can't find it. So Nintendo, what the fuck are you doing? Like, this is the most Nintendo-ass thing they've done in a really long time. And I love weird Nintendo. And this is weird Nintendo to a T. And it's like, it highlights the flaw of their own app. That, like, here's this thing, which obviously costs money to produce, right? Like, a lot. And you can't even find it now? Like, it's gone? What are you doing? Like, at least give us a place where, like, your shorts will live, right? Like, be like, okay, we're making shorts now. They're going to live here. Like, they had a Nintendo video app back on the DS and the Wii U era. Like, do something like that here. But that Nintendo Today, now you better be checking Nintendo Today every day. Because you don't know what the hell they're going to put there. It could be anything.
That's the point. That is the point. They want to make the app an experience. If you don't check this app every day, you may miss something cool because it'll go away, right? Arguably, the Fortnite stuff does cool stuff, but people record it and upload it. You can see it if you don't get to play it. But like this stuff, if you miss it, it's gone. It's brilliant marketing. You have to use the app. Use the app. In a world where like everyone's on social media platforms, doesn't want to go anywhere else, like you have to download the app. You have to check it. You can't go on your social feed and check it on Facebook. It has to be on the app.
I wouldn't call it brilliant marketing really because
smart for them to do that.
I definitely would not. I feel a little different about the whole thing.
Oh, Donovan.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Donovan's a negative one. Oh my God.
No, I just don't like the intentional reduced shareability of Nintendo Today, where they're like, we're gonna put in software that stops you from screenshotting this. There's no share button. There, you can't comment or like repost or anything. So like, what is Nintendo's like? In their vision, right? It's like everyone looks at this on their phones and then puts their phones away, and there's nowhere for us to talk about it because you're not supposed to be able to post it on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram. I don't know. I think that they stop you from discussing it. For the only reason we have screenshots is because people mirrored it onto their computers and captured it.
Or
I just think that part's very silly.
TJ literally used his spouse's phone to take a picture of his phone to get the header image for our article. Because you can't screenshot it. And yeah, like you have to mirror it on an Android app on your phone, on your PC to even do that. Like, this is why I'm like, this is the most Nintendo-ass thing they've done in a really long time, David. Because it's like...
I think it's the most Nintendo-ass thing, period. Because they've never really fully appreciated their own history.
Yeah.
Like, they don't even archive their games that well. And so it makes sense to me that they wouldn't, give you a place to be able to look at this forever.
But then to contradict them their own selves, they built the Nintendo Museum.
Yeah.
So it's like, what is it, Nintendo? Do you want us to see this thing? Or do you not? Because the one that you can see that's been uploaded all the YouTubes, Nintendo Australia, Nintendo UK, Nintendo of America, is the one without the Pikmin. The first one. That's everywhere. Right. That was on Twitter. That's on at Nintendo of America, Donovan. It's shareable. But the cool one, the one with all the Pikmin, it's gone. You can't find it anywhere. And this is the most Nintendo-ass shit I've seen them do in years. I was just like, oh, okay, this is very Nintendo. And everyone's like, oh, this is definitely a trailer for Smash, or this is going to be a Mario. I'm like, no, the fuck it isn't. This is a short. That's all it is. It's a short, and it was designed to draw attention, clearly, to the Nintendo Today app, which they are pissed that people aren't using it. So, I get it. But man, Nintendo Today, if it was a website with hyperlinks that you can share would be so much better than what it is as an app. Like, materially better. And that goes back to your point, Donovan. Like, you want virality, Nintendo. You want shareability, Nintendo. You want people, you want the blue ocean, but you're closing them off. It's like, not everyone has a smartphone. Not everyone has the app. Not everyone knows how to freaking mirror an Android app on their PC. All it needs, in my opinion, is a website that I can load on my mobile device or on my desktop and has history. That's it. Like, a calendar without history is worthless. What are you doing? And it's cool. Like, yesterday, they posted the key art for Breath of the Wild, David, without the logo. I'm like, that's cool. Yeah. I would like a screenshot of that.
Yep.
I would use it as a background on my phone or something. But no, can't do that. Cool thing, you can see it for one day. And David, you didn't see it yesterday, did you?
No, I didn't.
So fuck you. You don't get to see it ever. Fuck you.
Yep.
Fuck you in particular. Like, what are they thinking? Why are they like this?
This reminds me of those Thursday nights when there was like a special on like on television on like the basic channels that you had to be there at 8:00 PST to watch. There was a Ninja Turtles special. They were doing something and you had to watch it. It was the 8 to 8:30 and you had to be there Thursday to watch it. And if you missed it, you missed it. And that reminds me of that,
appointment television. Appointment television. Sure, it's 2025.
Yeah.
You want to appeal to the people who are like, I don't know what generation it is, Donovan, like 0 to 6. I don't know what the hell they are. Alpha? Whatever. Whatever generation that is the one they're targeting with this. And their moms and dads. They're not going to give a fuck about app appointment. Like, forget appointment television. App usage appointment app usage.
Gotta tune in.
I get it, but I also think it's like the dumbest thing ever. And that being said, I was there, I saw it, and I loved it. I think it's great. I actually forget the strategy here, Donovan. I thought it was well produced. I thought it was a cute story, and it reminded me of early Pixar, like very early Pixar. And look at where Pixar went. So, like, what does this mean for the future? Please.
They want to see if they can still need Illumination's help for movies. They're experimenting.
No, they're saying it out loud. We don't need you. We are using you because you're going to do the Mario thing, and Sony, you're going to do the Legend of Zelda live action movie, and whatever other platform's going to do whatever other thing we want. But Pikmin's ours. We love Pikmin, right? And Pikmin doesn't need a motion picture. It really doesn't. A 4-minute video is adequate for a story about Pikmin. And I thought it was a cute story. Like, forgetting everything else. I thought it was well shot and, like, well directed and cute. So, like, in that sense, it shows, like I said, man, they made those fucking cutscenes for Zelda. If you've seen all the memories, all the tears and Tears of the Kingdom, I think it's some of the best video content Nintendo's ever made. So, like, this is heading there, Greg, to your point. But while I have you here, Doug Bowser, but day 77 until you're gone. Star Fox. That's all I have to say. God. Star Fox would lend perfectly.
Where's the animated series? Come on.
Let's just start with a short, Greg. But Star Fox. I think Star Fox would lend very well to this kind of format. A 4-minute story about something that happened in that universe. That actually might be a good Shack Chat. Maybe I'll suggest it this week. Like, what should be the next Nintendo Pictures short? Let us know in the comments what you think. But yeah, I didn't want, I know it's like not as in the news. It was all over the place last week or whatever, but like we didn't have a chance to talk about it. And I find it fascinating, but at the same time, I'm scratching my head in a lot of ways about it because like I'm telling you about it here on this podcast. And if you missed it, you can't find the version I'm talking about. You can find the non-animated Pikmin one with the one in the background that Donovan's talking about. And that was fun. The internet was fun for about a day there where everyone was like trying to figure out what this was. But like I heard the songs. Like I know the Pikmin soundtrack very well, so I heard it and I was like, that's a Pikmin short. Like that's Pikmin. Yeah. And then the next day I thought it was cheeky of them to confirm it. I was like, cool. I'm glad they did that. But it doesn't mean that we're getting a new Pikmin game. It doesn't mean anything. It's just a short. It's like the shorts that they would air at the beginning of a Disney movie when Pixar was just making shorts. The lamp guy, wasn't that like their first one they ever did?
Pixar lamp.
Yeah, that's what it is, and that's cool. I hope they make more. That's all I'm saying. Like, it's cool. It's a different thing. It's designed to reach a different audience. It's not about a game. It's about taking game IP and expanding it to that blue ocean that Iwata talked about all those years ago. And that's been the goal of their motion picture efforts, of their amusement park efforts, and their merchandising efforts. It's just an extension of all of that. I thought it was cool. But I will readily admit, Donovan, you are dead right when it comes to the stupidity of the lack of shareability of this stuff. That's dumb. But that's Nintendo. That's really it. That'll do it for the show.
You feel special, though, right? Like, if you saw it, you feel special. Like, that's the whole point. That is the point.
I don't feel special.
Oh, you liked it. You were like,
I like it. I don't feel special. I don't feel better than anyone who didn't see it. I feel bad that I can't share it with my friends. Like, that's how I feel. I'm like, that's stupid.
They created a unique experience for people who watched the app, is all I'm saying. Like, that was the point.
I can tell you that the Nintendo regurgitators of information on social media are all using Nintendo today more now than they were 2 weeks ago. So mission accomplished on that front, but lame. Still lame as fuck. But yeah, that'll do it for the show. If you like this, like, follow, and subscribe, all those good things. Before we go, we got a logo! Hooray! Shout out to our designer. Our designer is outstanding. Cheese. We appreciate you. But yeah, you will see a new This Week in Switch 2 logo. It is inspired by Nintendo Power and also the Switch 2 logo, but with a little bit of Shaq in there too. So we love it. It's red. You'll see it if you're listening to us on the various podcast facilities. You will see it there. We're going to try to incorporate it into our thumbnails going forward too. So yeah, thanks for joining us, Greg. But I must cast you back to the video mines. Before we go, though, we have a Borderlands 4 documentary dropping a week from now on October 22nd. So that was a game that was supposed to come out on Switch 2. So, but if you want to hear,
one day,
it will someday. There's legend says that there was a Switch 2 version of the game in the very building that you guys were filming that in. But yeah, it's hours of in-depth interviews have been cut down by Greg and David. It's very cool. So please check it out. It's our second 24 till launch ever, the making of Borderlands 4. We were at Gearbox for it. Check it out. It'll be on this very YouTube channel that you're watching. And we'll have a bunch of clips promoting it between now and then. But wanted to shout it out before we go. But that's literally where Greg's going back. He's going right back into the mines. But yeah, thanks for reviewing Pokemon, Donovan. I look forward to challenging you in multiplayer gameplay and getting my ass handed to me next week, probably. Thanks for joining us remotely from Chicago, David.
Absolutely.
Shout out to your hotel internet for surviving this.
It's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I have to say. And a MacBook microphone, probably. A+. Yep. So that'll do it. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.